Yeah, come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now 232 shopping days left until Christmas. You know what that means. It's time for another episode of Christmas Creeps, your one-stop shop for holiday movies and TV shows all year round. My name is Joseph Wade. I will be your host for this evening. Here with me tonight are my co-hosts, Johnny Five, the Human Robot.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, J-Man, what's going on?
Nothing much. Jesse Pinkman didn't show up. That was weird.
That is weird. I was kind of expecting him to show up at any moment. And Mr. Bradford is here as well. Brad.
Then I make a Breaking Bad reference, but I've only seen the first episode.
That's okay. We're going to talk about Breaking Bad a little bit more than that tonight, so buckle up, buckaroos. So hi, welcome to Christmas Creeps. This is kind of an accidental Cinco de Mayo episode. We did not plan this in advance. It's just these things tend to happen. We got another...
holidays, yeah.
Yeah, the holidays just tend to happen, you know? We don't plan
They sneak up on you. You don't, you can't look at a calendar and figure out when they are.
No,
I rely on my phone for everything because my brain is fucked. Anyway.
Yes. No, I just put a calendar and put Sheen on it. It tells me when some of the holidays are.
Oh, that's nice. Hopefully it's got some of the good holidays on that one.
That says like moons and stuff on it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. Anyway, friends, tonight we are doing yet another listener request because we just keep getting them in our inbox, and I feel bad. I now feel bad ignoring them, so we're going to do all the listener requests that we get, for better and for worse. So this week we got an email from a listener named Ben, who says he just discovered our podcast over the last year and has since listened to almost every episode. Which, if that is true, sir, you are a trooper. Because there's a lot of wheat and a lot of... I know. Let me start that over. There's a lot of chaff in that wheat.
Can someone email in and request Event Horizon or something?
If that's the only way we're going to talk about Event Horizon, then so be it.
We don't know if it's a Christmas movie until we watch it.
That's true. I mean, like we always say, everything is a Christmas movie until we say it isn't.
Jonathan, there's nothing stopping you from registering a fake email account somewhere and just sending in what you want to watch.
Well, there's the game, folks. That's the ball game. But Ben continues. He says, I know you have decided you don't want Tim Allen to be part of the Triple Threat Club, but you are missing out on a gem of a movie if you don't do El Camino Christmas. It is without a doubt one of my favorite terrible Christmas movies. So, Ben, your wish is our command. We're talking about El Camino Christmas tonight.
No, Tim Allen is on the naughty list with Mel Gibson. They don't count.
Right. It's entirely at our discretion whether or not to invite someone to the Triple Threat Club. Kind of like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in that respect. So it really is kind of a crapshoot who we let in and don't let in. But this is going to be a rocky road tonight, folks. So let's just get this out of the way now. Oh, my goodness.
Grip it and rip it.
Grip it and rip it, friends.
Can check.
You know, I'm kind of fibbing this week. I'm actually not drinking a beer of any kind. This is a Waterloo Summer Berry seltzer.
It's funny you mentioned that. This movie made me hate alcohol by association temporarily. I am drinking decaf coffee.
There you go, my friend. This movie made teetotalers of us all. I shouldn't say that. J-Man, what about you tonight?
After all the product placement of this movie, I found one thing that wasn't Pepsi.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Pepsi
So at least...
did not appear in this film. Was product not appearing in this film?
I mean, this ain't Cobra, you know?
Oh, yeah, Cobra had Pepsi and Coke. I don't know how they pulled that shit off.
Well, I'm betting one of them paid for it and the other one didn't. But yeah, so at least one of us is imbibing some kind of stimulant tonight, because El Camino Christmas is snooze fest, folks.
It's like hi video game chat. It's kind of like when you're crafting in Final Fantasy 14. There's a quality bar and a progress bar. They got the quality bar about like a third to halfway, and then just finish the progress bar out. So like they have a third of the good movie. It's an entire movie though. That is just a third good.
I'm going to turn it over to Brad for the counter argument. Brad.
I'm supposed to counter argument that? I'm kind of in wholehearted agreement to be honest.
Okay, counter argument may not be the right word. I was going to let you respond to that because you know a little bit more about Final Fantasy than I do.
I do not. I've never played Final Fantasy XIV.
The point is they had some of the trappings of a good movie, some of the makings of it, some of the beginnings of it. They just didn't get there.
I agree. And this movie, and I think I've talked about this with movies before, this is a classic case of a movie wanting to both side something or wanting to have its cake and eat it too.
Oh yeah.
'Cause we can get into it, but like, if they had committed to one over the other, it would have been a better movie. But they end up trying to do too much, and it doesn't work.
Was this marketed as a comedy or advertised as a comedy?
I saw some of like the synopsis filler somewhere that said this was a dramedy, like half comedy, half drama, which that's like the lazy man's way of saying everyone should watch this, even though it's just a drama.
It's a drama that's a little too. It's an unserious drama, is what it is. Then
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it.
Like I wouldn't be so far as to, and this is not like a slide that goes, oh, those don't count as jokes. They weren't funny. The movie didn't really have jokes. It had some kind of like absurdity to it, but nothing that I would say like this is a joke with a punchline. You know,
this movie. I feel like somebody on this production really wanted to make a Coen Brothers movie a little bit.
Yeah,
it felt like.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
But either everybody else didn't want to do that, or they were just too inept to pull it off, I guess.
Like, to compare it to another Tim Allen movie, Big Trouble, that's a movie that, while it's not exactly a drama, it's also not exactly a comedy, but they do actually have jokes in it. There are things that are presented as jokes and land as jokes.
Yeah, I thought about Big Trouble a lot when I was watching this, and I kept thinking, like, this movie is like if Dave Barry tried to write Breaking Bad. You know, it's that kind of like you get the kind of the Southwestern vibe and like the cops and the drug runners and stuff, but there's just all the edges are sanded off, including the funny ones.
Yeah.
And
it's 89 minutes long, which is very short for just about any movie these days, but like especially for one that's not just a straight up like screwy comedy.
Yeah,
it feels like is there some of this movie missing that would have like fleshed out things a little bit more? I don't know.
Or even like, was this supposed to be a pilot for some like Netflix series or something? Which, you know, if it was, I can't imagine that being much of a show because of the way it ends. But
right,
yeah, and that's where I kind of wanted to start was like, to me, this whole movie felt like it was engineered for the algorithm, because like they kind of shoehorn in like, okay, it's a drama, there's comedic actors in it, and also we're going to put Christmas in it for some reason, so now we can slot it into 3 or 4 different categories on our website, so to get the most eyeballs on it that we possibly can. Like,
and yet, who is this movie for?
I do not know.
Also, like, when does this movie take place?
Christmas Eve.
What year?
Oh,
they have cell phones, so
they do have cell phones.
It's supposed to be modern-ish day, I guess.
Yet the way Tim Allen's character talks is that the fallout of Vietnam in 1969 is what caused him to get a divorce. That kid is way too young to be his kid in that case. The actor is my age. So like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it also kind of strikes me as like a script that might have been lying around for a while. Like, say this movie was written in like 2000 or something, and they'd only just produced it in 2017. Like, I mean, we're just coming up with excuses at this point, you know. So
well, yeah, I think maybe that's giving it too much thought, because John made an excellent point in group chat that one of the major plot points of this film is that I guess that, again, brings up the question of when is this supposed to take place? One of the major plot points of the film is the protagonist gets busted for possession of marijuana, but possession of marijuana has been legal in Nevada since 2017, I think you said?
This is 2016, and this movie came out in 2017, so that wasn't a crime at the time.
Right.
And also just a weird thing about, like, wait, what? Is at one point they get beer out of the cooler, and Vincent D'Onofrio's character asks for Bud Light Lemon, which doesn't exist, and then they start drinking Bud Light Lime instead. Why? Why say lemon? It's lime. And you show it, so it's not like you're like... You say Bud Light, and you show the Bud Light Lime, so it's not like you're kind of speaking around like a Jimmy Hart version of the brand name, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's one of those cases where, like, you obviously can show it, but you can't say it, I guess.
But they do say Bud Light, though. That's the strangest part.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, Bud Light Lemon is a fake product, clearly, so it's okay. We can get away with it.
But there is Bud Light Lemonade, though, just for extra insanity.
In lemon tea.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's back up for a minute because, like, we have to set the stage for all the dumb shit that happens in this. Because there are way too many name actors in this movie for it to be as bland and boring as it is, and it kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's run down our cast of characters right fast.
Okay.
We got the main character who is Eric, who's like any good Western. He's like the stranger that comes into town. And is he driving an El Camino? No, he sure as hell isn't, because it's very clearly pointed out he's driving a Chevelle, a 1970 something or other Chevelle. So, like, my first thought was like, okay, this movie's called El Camino Christmas. There's got to be an El Camino. Nope.
And also to go back to the when was this movie written? Like, where did he like? It's supposed to be significant that he has a '70s muscle car. This guy was born in the mid '80s. You know?
Well, then eventually you find out that he is in town looking for his dad. And he finds his way to the apartment of the drunk Vietnam veteran played by Tim Allen, who I'm assuming is the original owner of that car, because he turns out to be that's his dad. Spoiler alert. I mean, I'm not even gonna.
If anything is hinted at that, it hit the cutting room floor,
right? Because
it's telegraphed so hard, like it's the most predictable twist possible. Come on.
It's telegraphed so hard that once you figure it out, it's still like 20 minutes until the main character figures it out.
If not more. Yeah.
If not more.
So, we meet the cops beforehand.
Right.
The cops we do meet, there's, so let's go back and start at the very beginning, because the very beginning pisses me off. Because it does that fucking thing of just showing, like, a violent scene with no real explanation, and then going, like, 39 hours earlier. It's like, you didn't have to do that movie.
It's a very arbitrary number.
You never have to do that movie.
It's almost as bad as the freeze frame. Yep, this is me. Bet you're wondering how I got myself into this situation.
Yeah.
I guess it's the same thing, really. It's just, anyhow.
But the person saying it is just Christmas Eve in general.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So
who are the cops?
Our actual sheriff is, I'm not going to remember any names, but the actual sheriff is played by Kurtwood Smith.
Yep.
And he is, I think the direction they gave him was to just be grumpier.
Just be Red Foreman, right?
Except angrier, yeah.
And I do have to note, like, the person that he is angriest at in the movie is named Eric, so, you know, like, they knew what they were doing.
And then there's Vincent D'Onofrio, who is, I do remember he's playing Deputy Carl Hooker, which, Vincent D'Onofrio has played some real sleazebags in movies, right?
Right.
And he is dialing it out to like 12 or 13 here.
Yeah, like, I kept thinking, like, if his character in Full Metal Jacket hadn't killed himself, spoiler alert, Full Metal Jacket, he would probably wind up as basically this character.
Yeah, like, this character is, like, this is one of those things where it's, like, it does verge into, like, I'm not gonna say comedic, I'm gonna say absurd, where it's just, like, how does this guy function? He is so fucking drunk.
Yeah, he's like a parody of a hillbilly cop.
It's
And
a bit much, right?
It makes the character not work because, like, you see the kind of things he does a little bit to kind of, like, give him any sort of, like, for lack of a better word, humanity or character.
Yeah.
But then also he is just a fucking monster. And it feels too incongruous. Like, it doesn't work, and he swings in between the two of them.
That's one of my big problems with when I talked about this movie trying to have it both ways. This character is probably the most glaring example of it. Later in the film, he's talking with some of the other characters, and he's talking about, like, the actual police work that he did, and it's supposed to be this moment that gives him some shred of, like, humanity. It's just like, you've already made him, like, drunk boss hog for, like, 45 minutes. Like, this isn't gonna work. This doesn't work. I have no sympathy for this man.
Yeah, you need to have this guy either be irredeemable or just less of an asshole. It hit like the sour spot, basically, the opposite of the sweet spot.
Yes.
Then there's Dax Shepard playing every Dax Shepard character you've ever seen.
He's literally playing Dax Shepard. Yes.
Buddy Calhoun.
Yeah.
Billy Calhoun, something Calhoun.
Billy, I think it's Billy.
Yeah, he's another deputy who's just, it's very strange, because, again, it's one of those things where it's like, there might be, like, another cutting room floor scene explaining this, because the first time we see him, he's working the counter at the, like, no-tell motel that Eric is staying at, and then, like, Vincent D'Onofrio's character shows up, and then he puts on a deputy's shirt, and then they go out in the cop car, which just, you work at the hotel and you're also a cop? Is that what's going on? Or
yes,
it's very strange.
That would make sense if that's what's happening, but, like, it's not really explained out of nowhere.
Unless he's working at the motel as like an undercover job to try and catch hookers, you know? But even then, like, I don't think so.
Too much of a stretch.
Too much work.
So one of the things at the start is that D'Onofrio's character Hooker is being berated by the sheriff because he's just a sloppy fucking drunk. He's reading Biggins magazine straight out of Married with Children.
Yes.
While in the office, which was probably the and again, I'm not trying to shit talk, because we were saying the only laugh at me, but this movie didn't really have jokes. That got a fucking laugh out of me, though.
Right.
Basically, because it made me remember Married with Children, which made me remember Futurama.
Oh, God.
But he's getting after him because he's like, how we're in rural Nevada. How are you not busting meth heads like a dozen a day? You know, literally go outside and swing a cat. You'll hit 3.
Right. So that's why he's so gung ho about busting Eric, even though everything we see up to this point is like Eric's just a normal dude.
Yeah. Like, what he has to go off of Eric is that it's a guy in town who had a credit card that got declined and then instead paid in cash. And then also the toilet in the hotel overflow, so he goes and buys some Drano, which you're not supposed to use in toilets, by the way. Don't do that. But there's like, oh, he has a declined credit card in Drano. Like, that's meth paraphernalia. Let's you know. And they're just absolutely. It's one of those cop things where it's just like, he is our suspect. We're going to make something suspicious. Basically,
he just keeps shouting, "Probable cause, probable cause." Like, literally chasing him down the road in the dumbest car chase I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. So the car chase lands them at the liquor store in the middle of town, or on the outskirts of town. I don't know. It's not much of a town. Yeah,
they're at like Vincente's like liquor store gas station combination thing where we're some characters we haven't even introduced yet. Kate works there.
Right.
The female lead. That's what she is.
Who who I spent literally half the movie looking at and going, I know her from someplace. And as soon as I looked her up, oh, right, it's because she's the lead, like the main female character on Letterkenny. I literally watched 12 seasons of that last year and completely forgot her.
Yeah, the sister, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then also just Lady and Sir also appearing in this film. Jessica Alba's a reporter. Jimmy O Yang's the cameraman. They're there for some reason.
I feel like if anything was cut from this movie, it was probably some of their plot.
Yeah.
Right?
Like
they show up a little too often, but not often enough to actually do anything.
It's like we have $500,000 left. Sorry.
Yeah, other than some Christmas symbolism with her giving birth.
Oh yeah.
At the scene, I guess, is what they're going for with that. Like that's, I don't know.
It's like we have $500,000 left in the budget. What do we do? I don't know. Let's hire 2 more actors.
So yeah, to get us to the relevant scenes, it was like Eric goes and sees the old guy in the apartment. The old guy's like, yeah, there's a veteran who used to live here. Do you want to talk about him? Buy me a drink and I'll tell you about him. Takes him to the bar. He just kind of fucks around and doesn't tell him anything. So Eric leaves. On the way to the bar, though, Tim Allen was rolling a joint, so now there's weed in Eric's car, which the cops find, take him to the sheriff's find, take him to county lockup, and Vincent D'Onofrio beats him with a fucking club because he's a shitty cop.
Yeah,
like this movie at least has it in its right that like the cops all fucking suck. It's at least consistent with that message.
Yeah, I mean this movie says ACAB like pretty hard, and that's fine.
It does, but then it pulls its punches again with the whole plot point that I was talking about when they're inside the convenience store. And, I saved your business, man. Who else came when you called? When blah 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 blah. I ran him out of town. You know.
Yeah, it makes all the cops too terrible to redeem any of them.
Yeah.
Even Dax Shepard, who literally is just doing his job.
He's just doing his job, but also he is like making things worse by covering his own ass.
But
yeah.
Like he is throwing like bystanders under the bus, basically, not just everyone.
And it can't be ignored when they go to the bar to buy Tim Allen his drink. He specifically asks for a couple quarters for the jukebox, and he plays Up on the Housetop. A fun old Christmas song, and he starts singing along, and he gets beaten up for it. Good for Tim Allen.
They recognized him from the Santa Claus.
No, they recognized him from Christmas with the Cranks and said, we can't have this shit in here.
Anyhow, he was up on the housetop. Or I guess Santa was up on the housetop when he died. But
this is
anyhow.
True. Anyhow.
So, the next morning after they beat the shit out of him, Billy is having very valid second thoughts about like, oh, we just police brutality this guy for no reason. Wow. So he kind of just looks the other way while Eric leaves. Eric gets back to his car. Then the scene from Pulp Fiction and also Stranger Things of 2 characters and like just meeting each other.
Yeah, just
not Stranger Things. Umbrella Academy. They're the same show, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a car chase. Vincent D'Onofrio just starts firing his gun at the car.
Yeah.
He is very angry for no reason.
So then the Chevelle breaks down. He ends up running into Vincente's as Kate is there because she works there with her son who is nonverbal. The movie has a little bit of weird opinions about autism, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then also Vincente, it's Vincente's store. He's there. Tim Allen's character Larry is also there because he's there to buy booze. And then Vince D'Onofrio comes up and just starts fucking shooting. So anyway, he started blasting.
And so Tim Allen naturally decides to defend himself, pulls his own gun, and shoots Vincent D'Onofrio in the leg. Oh, great. Now we have a cop on the floor, and it becomes a standoff very quickly. And
it's the dumbest standoff ever.
It is the dumbest standoff ever.
Yeah. It's almost a farce, but not quite.
Yeah, when the main sheriff and Dax Shepard's character show up, we get like a slight moment of farcical whimsy where they're like shooting through the building at one another.
Yeah, they're both shooting through the building at each other, screaming "Shots fired on officer" over the radio.
It's the closest this movie comes to
like an actual, let's say an actual crafted joke, basically.
Exactly.
And again, I want to emphasize this. This is not something where it's like, oh, that wasn't a joke, it wasn't funny. It's just no. This movie does not make jokes. Like, it does not do setup, punchline, and ha-has.
No, that's not what it's here to do.
This movie's weird, man.
like,
yeah.
like getting like the first 30 minutes, like getting us to the point of the standoff. Like, okay, we're setting things up. We're introducing our characters. I'm mildly into it, mostly because like I know most of these actors. Like, okay, it's good to see them do work. But then once the standoff like gets underway, the movie just grinds to a halt, and it's just six characters sitting on the floor and talking at each other and just being angry and stupid.
And it's there's space for it to work if you made your characters more interesting than they are,
right?
As like a character study sort of thing. But no, just kind of nothing really happens, or like you know, the same old rote drama stuff that you expect to happens. Where
Kate's there to be a love interest, like that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's a man with he's a fugitive, because if they still think he's a fugitive with a heart of gold, and of course, you know, all the other stuff that happen, you know, expect to happens. We find out about Tim Allen being dad. That's to be expected. Like at almost the end of the movie, Vicente has like a plot point where his wife passed, but then they like basically don't ever touch it except in passing. I felt like that was meant to be a bigger thing, and then they just didn't do anything with it.
It's the closest the movie has to an actual joke.
Say what?
It's the closest the movie gets to like making a joke, because like his whole thing about his wife being, you know, dead is just, oh, we have this cardboard cutout of like a beer girl standing in the store, and he talks to his dead wife like, nah, she's not for me. Like, okay,
like he's talking to a picture of his wife, and then mentions the beer cutout. Yeah, and
which you wouldn't think would be a setup for a punchline, but it totally is.
Yeah,
such as it is. Yeah, there's a lot of characters with like nothing really to do in this movie.
Like if you want to go on who's stuck inside the like convenience store.
Yeah,
Kate's there because she's the love interest. That's why she's there. Even though this movie does not really have love, it's like it's what's going to happen.
Young guy, young girl. Okay, we get it.
Yeah. The nonverbal kid is there so that he can have a breakthrough and talk to Eric to show that he's the hero of the movie. It's the first time he talks is to him.
Right.
He can have a Tiny Tim moment, essentially.
Yeah.
As a treat.
Vincente is there because you need an innocent person to get fucking shot the fuck up.
I hate to laugh at that, but you're right.
That's why that character is there, you know?
Right.
And then you have Tim Allen and Eric in there to like sort their life shit out, and then Carl Hooker, the deputy, is in there to just cause problems.
Right. And I mean, Tim Allen is also there just to cause problems, because he's the one who makes the standoff worse by pulling his own gun and just starting to shoot. And then he gets up and starts singing and dancing in the aisles of the convenience store. And then, Kurtwood Smith sees that, and he's like, oh, God, we got a crazy man on our hands here. You can't deal with crazy men, so we're just going to go in guns blazing.
They're also doing the whole, because they mentioned Die Hard, which don't do that. Don't remind me that I could be watching Die Hard instead. But they do the whole Juris My Diction thing where they're just like, we got to kill all the fucking people in the store before the feds show up and take the credit for killing all the people in this store.
Oh, and then as soon as they say that, the feds totally show up.
No, the feds show up after they fucking make a mess. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
They have just enough time to murder ? Vincente. Don't worry, before the feds show up.
Don't worry. Yeah.
The standoff is happening, and then news reporter Jessica Alba comes in to try and she thinks this is going to be her big break, so she starts interviewing people left and right. And I noticed she has a real hard time getting the characters' names out, and I think it's because she can't remember them. Probably because she just learned them that day.
Yeah.
Like, Officer, what the fuck is your name? Billy. Officer Billy. Tell us what's going on. But and then nightfall happens, and then everything happens at once. Like literally within the space of 30 seconds, every character either gets shot or does something stupid.
Yeah, like the way the way the whole all the action unfolds is Vince D'Onofrio has another gun on him, pulls it, shoots Eric, At which point Eric shoots him. Vincente makes a run for it and gets shot by the fucking cops.
Yes, falls forward out of the store through a plate glass window, like also onto like piles and piles of cans of beer. Great.
It's how I want to go out.
Covered in Pabst. All right.
He died as he lived.
Getting shot.
No, covered in Pabst.
No, that's what's the Archer joke? He died doing what he loved, getting shot. Tim Allen starts shooting out the window for no reason, which of course causes the cops to shoot, and that's why Vincente gets shot. Jessica Alba suddenly goes into labor, like in the middle of her broadcast.
Yeah,
and then on top of everything else, oh great, it starts snowing, and that's like the punchline to a bit from the very beginning of the movie, where like the weatherman's like, it hasn't snowed in New Mexico in 40 fucking years. Like, no shit, it's New Mexico.
Nevada, but
Nevada.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And to give Tim Allen's character a tiny bit of credit, he starts shooting at the windows because the cops are trying to come in. So
fair.
There's at least that. But yeah, then the feds show up. Kate and her son leave.
Right.
Then Tim Allen and Eric have a heart-to-heart. Tim Allen wipes all the prints off the guns, then goes outside with the pass-through ribbon lady, pulls 2 guns, and gets fucking murdered by the police to take credit for the hostage situation, basically.
He pulls an El Camino. No, he pulls a Gran Torino on himself. If you've ever seen the movie Gran Torino, never mind.
Spoiler alert for Gran Torino as well.
I mean, Tim Allen does do slurs in his personal life, not really in this movie, though.
Fair enough, and he does leave his car. I assume that the Cheville was his car, so like he leaves the car to his kid. Sure, why not?
The kid already had the car, though.
Kid already had the car.
Yeah. The reveal with the keys is that the dog tag has his full name on it, which is Lawrence Michael Roth, Roth, which is who Eric's looking for.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the end of the story, right? And then we get like the 10-minute coda of what happened to everybody who's not dead.
Yeah, which is
the
reporters get their Houston classy Planet Earth ending.
Yeah,
Brad, sorry.
I guess there are 2. I forgot about Tim Allen's character. He's definitely dead.
He's defo dead.
He's defo suicide by cop dead.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Kate's mom, who we haven't even mentioned yet, is like, remember the weatherman who I mentioned earlier? Oh yeah,
she's fucking the weatherman.
She's fucking the weatherman now.
At the end of the movie.
Great.
Also a character that has very little purpose in this film, I feel.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Dax Shepard's running for sheriff. Safety is my middle name and my last name. So Sheriff Billy Safety. Have fun with that.
Yeah, that's one of the problems too. If you're going to give that character that in, you have to have him not be so incompetent, and also especially not have him be like basically how am I trying to word this? He starts out with incompetence and then turns into like just absolute, it's everybody else's fault but mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he decides to be the only person in the room doing the right thing, which okay. Sure.
And even then, not really. Like it's weird. The character's a little too much of an asshole for this ending.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like Vincent D'Onofrio's character is not enough of an asshole for his ending. He needs to be like, I mean, I know I'm kind of saying like, no, we don't want nuance, but like, no, we don't want nuance in this fucking movie. This is not what this movie is.
We threw nuance out the window within the first 10 minutes. Like, call a spade a spade.
But basically, yeah, if you're not gonna play up the types that these movies traffic in, then you're just doing a stage play for no reason. And I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate having my time wasted like that.
Like you mentioned Coen Brothers. Yeah, like if this was a Coen Brothers movie, like Vincent D'Onofrio's character would be twice as horrible. Dax Shepard's character would be a little more well-intentioned, but probably still as bumbling and like ineffectual.
Twice as dumb, but well-intentioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tim Allen's character would actually be funny.
Yes.
But that's beside the point.
Yeah. I will say, contrary to what I was expecting, Tim Allen was not quite the weak part of this movie.
he was not the worst part of this movie, I would say.
He does what the script asked him to do, was what I'm saying.
That's as much credit as I'm willing to give him. I'm still did not care for his character, but that's maybe my personal beef with Tim Allen more than anything, I guess.
Yeah, I get what you mean, because like I can tell that he's really trying, but I just don't want to give him the benefit of that doubt, you know?
Exactly. And I mean, it's very much like a Tim Allen character too.
It kind of is. Like
it's
yeah, but he's not being quite as like, this isn't like the Santa Claus 2 and 3 where he's just being a fucking smarmy asshole. Like,
right.
I think for whatever reason, for whatever it's worth, on some level, he does kind of understand this character, or at least understands the emotions to give this character, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like it does feel this guy is a fucking like bitter, trauma-ridden like alcoholic. You know, you do feel that.
Mm.
Yeah, like he's coming at this from a place where, like, at a certain point, you're like, oh, he's not really acting, is he?
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, props to him for
maybe,
that.
Maybe that's why I'm saying Tim Allen did such a good job playing a drunken, bitter, psychotic asshole that it's almost like he wasn't acting.
There we go. We've arrived.
Oh, there it is. But also, we discover that Vincent Day is alive.
Yes.
And he's vacationing at a beach resort where guess what? He gets to meet I assume it's actually the girl from the beer standee that's in the store.
Oh, was that the joke? It was the lady in the standee?
I think it was the joke.
Okay.
She looks like her.
All right.
So
I didn't put that together.
It looks enough like her that must be what they're going for.
Right.
Okay. I see.
Because, like, remember, he talks to the picture of his wife, and he's like, "Don't worry about her; she's not my type." And then he meets that girl, that type, and he's like, "Oh, all right, let me see what this is about." So either it's the same character, the same girl, or it's one very much like her.
Okay,
yeah,
got it.
And then finally, Eric meets Kate and her son at the diner, buys the kid a slice of cake, like he does earlier in the film, and all is right with the world.
Yeah, and the kid's talking now, like, at a reasonable amount.
Right, for a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
God bless us, everybody.
And then the best part of the movie happens, because it's over now. But also because over the end credits we get some drunk asshole singing the 12 Days of Christmas.
That is Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's knew
Vincent
it.
D'Onofrio.
It had to be.
That.
It had to be.
As soon as the first line came out, I windmill slammed the pause and close button. I was like, I'm done.
I was a whole fucker. I let it ride.
Oh my goodness.
I let it ride just because I wanted to see if it was actually him, and of course the movie doesn't tell you. But come on. Of course it is.
If you have the subtitles on, it says it's a hooker singing it.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. All right. That makes more sense.
Yep.
Well, then there you have it, friends.
Yeah.
That's El Camino Christmas.
Yeah, and just another note on kind of the reception of this movie. There are like 5 critic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, like 3 bad and 2 good, I think.
Right.
And this movie is like so just forgettable, I guess is the right word for it, that it doesn't even actually have a plot summary on Wikipedia. It has like the DVD back of the cover type blurb on there.
Nobody cared enough to even write a Wikipedia article, which just tells you.
Yeah.
The top, let's see here, one of the top user reviews on Letterboxd says, quote, Tim Allen getting drunk and violent at Christmas. It's the Santa Claus 4 we've all been waiting for. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
So friends, I guess it's time to go to the crankometer because, I mean, Jonathan has been mad at this movie for long enough.
Yeah, it feels like we haven't run for very long, but sometimes we just talk.
You know, I mean,
that's it.
We've been talking for 40 straight minutes here, so I mean,
yeah, and this was only an 89-minute movie, and it didn't have much going on.
I mean,
for a lot of those minutes. So
personally, I'm shocked we've squeezed as much blood out of this stone as we have. But yeah, let's go straight to the crankometer, friends. This is our patented XY axis where we rate Christmas movies. The X-axis is our Christmas quotient, how Christmassy the film is, and the y-axis is the quality quotient, how good the film is. So, gentle friends, El Camino Christmas, how Christmassy is it? I will venture to say I want to give this a -1 at least.
Okay.
Because for like 90% of the runtime of this movie, even though I knew the title of the movie, I forgot it took place at Christmas.
Yeah.
And including
right.
Christmas in this plot really does just feel like, you know, algorithm, like, you know, something driven for the algorithm just to check a box, you know?
It's the Anna and the Apocalypse problem again. They just made it Christmas because they could.
Exactly.
They already had a movie in place.
Exactly.
This could have happened any old time.
This could have been an email.
This could have been an email. And none of, like, the only plot point that you can kind of hang your hat on having a purpose for happening at Christmas is Eric seeking out his dad, and he has like a throwaway line where like, "Oh, it's Christmas. I thought I might see him. It's the thing to do at Christmas."
Right.
But
And I mean, at least Vincente gives Kate's kid a gift that he gets to unwrap at Christmas Eve. It's like, okay, somebody's getting a gift of something. Fine, I'm okay with that.
Otherwise, it's basically just an excuse to sing Christmas songs every once in a while.
Right, and of course, it's drunk people singing Christmas songs, and those are just the worst.
Yeah.
You know, -1 at least.
I think -1 is fair. There's very little going on as far as Christmas decor other than here and there in the convenience store and in the diner and things like that.
Right.
The score is... I'll give them a little bit of credit for score that they... Not the soundtrack. They do have some licensed songs, but the score has it uses some of, you know, classic Christmas Carol lay motifs, but it's kind of in the background. It's okay.
Right. Yeah.
I won't give it any points for that, but honorable mention, I suppose.
To me, that's almost like one of those bare minimum, like, if you're going to make a Christmas movie, you'd better fucking do this.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
I hate to be that mean about it, but like, there it is.
No, it is. You're right. It is the bare minimum of what should be expected if you're trying to make your movie set at Christmas and marketing it as such.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So yeah, I think -1 is where we're going to land there. So then the y-axis, how good is El Camino Christmas? Oh boy. My first reaction is the only thing worse than a bad movie is a boring movie. So I want to give this at least a -3.
Yeah, this isn't the worst it could be, but that makes me madder at it.
Right.
Exactly.
Like people, like competent filmmakers made this movie, but they didn't care about the script. They just wanted to make a movie. And that makes it so much worse to me. Because
it's
like
just kind of there, right?
It's just kind of there. Because like we've watched so many things on this that were just an unmitigated piece of crap that like a crazy person wrote. But it was still entertaining because like it was kind of like almost weird outsider art. This is like a real Hollywood film, and it's just so
Jack Frost
bland.
2 was that one where it's just like it was so fucking baffling that it ended up being like watchable. Right.
Yeah. Or I'm even giving credit to like, you know, Karate Christmas Miracle, where as craven and kind of soulless as that movie is, it's made by a legit nut bar, and that's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Like this feels like sequel trilogy compared to like Karate Christmas Miracle's prequel trilogy, which is just like they let a fucking lunatic have the reins, and like he had them all right.
Right. Yeah.
Rather than this one, like, which is just feels like movie by corporate. Yeah.
It really is like Netflix saying we can slap the word Christmas on anything and people will watch it.
Yes.
And that's the kind of shit that makes me want to cancel my Netflix subscription.
Did you hear that in the UK they're canceling people's grandfathered basic plans and forcing them to go to the ad supported plan?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Netflix should try making good stuff, and then maybe people will want to give them money for it.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
One Piece was good, but not good enough to maintain a subscription.
Yeah, we gave up on Netflix a couple years ago, and we have Amazon Video because it comes with having Amazon Prime. I still have Paramount Plus, which I've not canceled yet, but it's only like $6, so it doesn't really bother me that much,
It's true, yeah.
And then Hulu we have mainly because we're grandfathered into a Hulu and Spotify package for $10 a month, and I am not fucking touching that ever.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Keep that.
Hang on to that as long as you possibly can. But I feel like the mouse will come for that sooner or later.
Yeah.
One of these days, the mouse will come for us all.
That's
At which point I finally will switch back to probably a family Spotify plan, because I'm just ruining Karen's algorithm right now whenever I use it. So it's just a bunch of her music, and then it's just why is there thrash metal on my playlist of Duran Duran shit?
And you just yell from the back room, "Why do you think?" Brad, what were you about to say before J-Man cut you off?
I don't remember. I was just laughing at the mouse will come for us all.
Yeah. The best laid plans of mice and men, right?
Yes.
Can I make a while we're talking about streaming services, can I make a recommendation right fast?
Yeah.
If you have Amazon Prime, you can start a 1 week free trial of Fandor, which I highly recommend because it's the only way you can watch Hundreds of Beavers right now. That movie is fucking wild. And
I need to watch it.
I will recommend it to everyone who is listening. Hundreds of Beavers is wonderful.
I think you can also just straight up rent it on Apple TV. But yeah,
You probably
if you want
can.
to stream it.
If you want to stream it for
actually,
free, you can do it, with a Fandor trial. So get on that.
I forgot to mention Dropout. Everyone should give Dropout money. I don't count them as a streaming service sometimes because they're their own thing. You don't have to worry about shit disappearing off of Dropout and appearing on Netflix or vice versa or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
What's Dropout?
It's what College Humor turned into.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to think if I have a streaming rec.
Come on, Brad.
I don't. I don't. I can't in good faith recommend any streaming service, honestly. Just get the one that you want, that has the things you want, and then cancel it, which is what you should do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's fair. Man, this internet hellscape we have fucking sucks now.
Well, why do you think I got a NAS, my friend?
Oh, I know good and well why. But where I'm going with it is I just Googled the phrase El Camino Christmas just to see if I could find the poster, because I have to put the poster or some picture of it on our, splash it all over our webpage and crap like that. And literally the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th Google image search result is an AI art piece of an El Camino in front of a barn decorated for Christmas, and I hate it, and I hate everything now.
Yeah, it's
that sucks. Just put the poster for Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail on the episode instead. It's fine.
Now here's another one, and here's another one. God damn it.
The internet is getting more and more filled with garbage, and that's saying something for something that was already filled with garbage before AI came along.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a trash fire, and now it's burning brighter than ever.
It's getting unusable in some cases. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note, if we're just gonna randomly recommend shit, Ed Zitron's Better Offline podcast. If you really are confused about why the internet's bad, go listen to that for a while.
Yeah,
Fair
he's
enough,
got
yeah.
a really good newsletter you can sign up to for sport too, called "Where's Your Ed At?" And it goes into a lot of that kind of stuff too, if you prefer to read rather than listen.
Gotcha.
Ed Zitron is a cool dude.
All right, friends. So I think our crankometer landed on -1, -3. Is that right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listener Ben, I hope you gleaned something fun out of this episode, because we sure as hell didn't. Yeah.
But thank you for sending us some fan mail, and thank you for listening.
We do really appreciate it. And if anybody else wants to recommend a movie for us to listen to or watch so that you can listen to us talk about it, which is how I should have said that sentence, you can send those emails to us at xmascreeps@gmail.com. You can also
I'm sending an email right now.
Oh, God. You can also tweet at us or skeet or whatever. Fuck, we're at Christmas Creeps on all the socials. You can't miss us. Or my favorite recommendation is to just go to our Discord channel, join it, and join the conversation because we're having all kinds of weird chats all the time. Find that link in our show notes on the webpage. Am I missing anything? Am I leaving anything out?
Yes. I think there may be one or two of you wondering, isn't it May? Where's anime?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Anime is a thing that only happens every other year. It happens on odd numbered years. It's special like that, like the World Cup. But I was pleased to find out, according to somebody in our Discord, we've got another movie for next year. And I'm very excited. Spy Family, Code White, is apparently, at least to some extent, a Christmas movie. I really wanted to do it, but I couldn't, in good faith, make both of you go to the theaters to view a serialized cartoon movie.
Could we just watch like Howl's Moving Castle instead?
Howl's Moving Castle is a good movie, but that's not the movie I'm talking about. So, look forward to that next year. Something to look forward to in the distant future, because I certainly am. Anyways,
does Spy Family have anything to do with Spy vs. Spy from Mad Magazine?
In that it has spies and they are versus one another. Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's about how one of the spies from Spy vs. Spy killed the other spy, settled down, had a family, and now that spy is versus their own family, right?
Okay.
Sort of.
Okay.
No.
Ugh. So much for and, right?
I mean, it does do the whole like East Germany versus West Germany thing. That's like the whole premise of the entire series. So,
well, see, that's something at least.
It's something, but I feel like most spy stuff is kind of about that era of history.
That is very true. Well, any final comments before we wrap this episode up, friends?
Yeah, I could talk about Final Fantasy some more, 7 or 14, but I can go play them instead, so I'll just do that.
That's fair. Totally fair. Bradford, anything from you?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, folks, thank you so much. We really appreciate it, and we hope to bring you some more wacky shenanigans here as we get into summer. Maybe we can start doing some more summer blockbusters soon. We still have a handful of Christmassy summer blockbusters to get through, so keep an eye out or an ear out for that. But that's going to do it for Christmas Creeps, friends.
Yeah, we got the dog fart days of summer coming up, too, so...
Oh, Lord.
Yay! Can't wait.
The next 3 or 4 months of our podcast are kind of set in stone now, aren't they? No, they never are. They never are.
Yeah. It turns out I'm going to go work the night shift again for several months. Bye.
Oh, man. All right, friends. Well, this has been Christmas Creeps. I'm Joseph Wade.
Bradford.
I'm Johnny Five, the human robot.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas. You guys. Yeah.
Happy Star Wars Day, you bastards.
Oh, no. You had to bring it up. It's quick. End the podcast.
I had to do it to know.
Don't talk about your blue milk. Bye.
He bought blue milk.
I bought the blue milk.
he bought the blue milk.